And now the latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical weather bulletin for October 12th. Quite a messy picture today, a lot of remnant lows out there. Delta, of course, one of the notable ones. Norbert, Chan-Hom and Linfa, which made landfall in Vietnam in the last 24 hours. Also those two depressions, 18W, which could get named in the next few hours, and a depression in the Indian Ocean, the Bay of Bengal. Day 133 in the Atlantic, and apart from Delta, which is continuing northeastward there, we've put a 40% chance on the main development region system, which will be passing through the Lesser Antilles in a few days, and a 30% chance for a longer range tropical cyclone that could form in the eastern Atlantic. Day 150 of Eastern Pacific hurricane season, and the remnants of Norbert could redevelop, could become a tropical storm short-lived yet again, who knows, and 20% chance further towards the west, now entering the central Pacific. In the West Pac, you've got 18W, which could become a significant tropical storm, maybe even a typhoon before striking Hainan later this week. 50% chance behind it for another area of interest that could move through the Philippines as a weak tropical cyclone, and then a 10% chance for early formation of a system out at sea, models long range suggesting that it will form eventually. Tropical depression there in the Bay of Bengal, and that is likely to make landfall on the eastern coast of India as a weak tropical storm. So looking at the North Atlantic right now, you can see how things are looking. You can see that wave there that's moving through the central part of the Atlantic, and a small one behind it as well, which we were tempted to mark. Something worth watching at the very least. And obviously you can see Delta's remnants up there on the top left-hand side. Still a lot of cloud cover over the southeastern United States, although the Gulf of Mexico looking very quiet now. Of course, after Delta's big landfall earlier in last week. You can see Norbert, the remnants of it, putting up a good fight to try and get its status back there, with convection blowing up on the western side. Ascat passed not long ago, suggesting that a centre of circulation was not apparent, but not too far away from it, very elongated at least. And further out to sea, you can't see that central Pacific system, but it was looking decent, just didn't have any convection. The western Pacific, you can see that Chan-Hom looks dreadful. Nothing left of it at this point, that's just a circulation there, but decent convection blowing up around 18W off the western coast of the Philippines. That is going to develop, and down there on the eastern side of the Philippines as well, that area of interest looking better there too. The South Pacific looks like this, very quiet actually. Hardly anything going on at all. A little bit of rainfall for eastern Australia and Brisbane. In the Indian Ocean, you can see that area of interest, which is a tropical depression according to the Indian Meteorological Department, and will probably become a named storm just before it makes landfall in about a day and a half to 2 days. Sea surface temperatures in the eastern Pacific remain fairly warm, 28 degrees to 30 perhaps along the eastern coast of Mexico. We can't rule out an October significant hurricane for the Mexican coastline. In the Atlantic, hopefully the Gulf threats are through, with temperatures dropping in the northern Gulf again, especially after Delta. The rest of the Gulf struggling just a little bit, 28 degrees generally. The Caribbean Sea, though, very warm, 28 to 30 degrees Celsius, perhaps even pushing higher off the Cuban coastline, something to watch in the next couple of weeks. The North Indian Ocean as well, fairly warm, 28 to 30 degrees, even warmer in the northern part of the Bay of Bengal, and in the western Pacific you can see this here off the eastern the Philippine Sea I should say, 30 degrees plus. The South China Sea not quite as high, but still very sufficient for tropical cyclone development. Temperatures starting to fade away a little bit now near Japan, just about maintaining decent conditions. You can see the La Nina is still very prevalent, and in the western Pacific still above average on the whole. The Atlantic, the Gulf is now finally quite a majority probably below average, but the Caribbean and the Gulf Stream areas off Florida still well above average in terms of temperature anomalies. Well, on this day, October 12th, 1979, it's still got that record typhoon tip, the most intense tropical cyclone on record, with an estimated, actually an observed pressure of 870 millibars. Hasn't been beaten before or since. So many storms have come close, but tip still holds the crown. and one off, if not the largest tropical cyclone in history as well. That number is disputed on what measurement you use, whether you go by wind diameter or whether you go by cloud coverage or high seas. Well, in this rollercoaster Atlantic hurricane season that's still going on, Epsilon will be the next name, followed by Zeta, and that of course would match 2005 as far as named storms are concerned. The Eastern Pacific, the next name is Odalis, followed by Polo. In the Central Pacific, we're still waiting for Hone. In the Westpac, the next name is Nanka, followed by Sordell. In the North Indian Ocean, we might be just about to get Gatti. And in the Southern Hemisphere, the next name on the Australia naming list, which we'll be looking out for soon, is Imogen. The Southwest Indian Ocean, Alicia, and in the South Pacific, the next name is Yolanda. That's all for now. We'll have another tropical weather bulletin tomorrow night.